maybe you've had too, where lots of black people who are sort of doing well don't really want to talk about race. They want to talk about making money.
Brilliant. I love what you're saying, sister, because I can see that you're really, I know what you're trying to say. Let me try and answer the first part. Well, you can only do what you can do, okay? And we are where we are, okay? So it's not right for me to say, well, you should do what I'm doing or another person. We are where we are. And sometimes you can't do things. Now, the situation I was in is that I earned just enough money that if I put a little bit away, I could afford this. That's how I did it. I literally put a little bit away in a separate account for the pressing of this book. The writing of it doesn't cost you any money. It's just a laptop. You write it. Okay. I ordered a few books. When it came to my birthday, a few friends sent me books. I've always had books. I've got a library of about 1,000 books. That's what I've got. So I've used much of my own library. But look, I want to say that you are where you are. It's not correct to say, I've got to be doing what this person did. But within your own life, you've got to be able to see that maybe there are some things you can do, but you're not doing. I could have easily said in 2017, am I going to write this book because I haven't got the money for it? But I said, no, I'm just going to start saving. The minute I started to write the book, I set up a savings account. This is a fact. And I put money in it. Just 20 quid here, 30 quid there, 100 quid here, £70 here. Just put it in. And then when it came to spending certain things for the book, I had the account and I did it. So that was that. Okay. Now, coming to your second point, black people just want to focus on money. Without being rude, and I don't like, I'm not rude anyway, and I don't like being rude to black people. They are racially illiterate. Okay. Black people, okay, you're not going to be liberated through buying power. Okay. And once you become literate and you study enough, you realize that's not going to happen. The system is set up to keep black people collectively at the bottom of the economic ladder. But the problem is you see the odd individuals, rappers, singers, artists who get through. And of course, the media, the counter-resurgency pushes that in your face. We can all make it. We can all be rappers. We can all be Beyonce or whatever thing you want to do. And that's pushed in your face. When actually, in reality, buying power cannot save black people. That's just literally not going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because the system is rigged against us. Okay, we have lots of black people who don't believe this. They actually believe that if we just worked hard, we're going to get the stuff. You hear it. There's a brother that comes on Galaxy. It's like a broken record. He just keeps saying that we need to build business and build this and build that and look at the Asians and look at the Chinese, and round and round like a broken record. He's racially illiterate because he should know that the system is set up to keep the group down. Just because you may have done a few things, most of us are at the bottom of the economic ladder because the group is down, and that it was set up. Every single inch of economic advancement that black people have made in the United States and here has been met with structural and systemic barriers set up specifically to keep the group down. Now that's called, ready? Racialized capitalism. And that brother who keeps ringing in on Galaxy, waffling on about Asians do it, we should do it. He doesn't understand racialized capitalism. Very simple. Capitalism is racialized. Now, if something is racialized, it means it has a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Black people has to be at the bottom. Let me give my listeners an example of racialized capitalism. All right? So it doesn't matter what you do, capitalism is racialized. I'll give you an example. In the United States, between 1900 and 1934, it peaked in 1928. Ready? There was 130 banks in the United States between that period, between 1900 and 130 banks. The biggest banks in the United States was the Binger Bank, the Binger State Bank, and the Douglas, I think it was called the Douglas National Bank. And those two banks combined held the resource of 1/3 of all the black banks in the UK. This is in the early to mid 1900s in the United States. Ready? Black people did that. Now, we're all familiar with Wall Street being bombed, but listen to this one. You know what happened in 1930? We had the Wall Street crash. Now, you know what I'm going to say because you know racism. Ready? It was time to save the banks. Now, you know literally what I'm going to say next. There was no stimulus package for the Binger Bank, no stimulus package for the Douglas Bank, and there was another bank not far from New York called Dunbar Bank. Every request to the federal government to bail out these, no, that's capitalism. And those banks, imagine if those banks were alive and running today, you and I would not, it would change our whole perspective. That's racialized capitalism, which that brother who keeps ringing in, comparing us to Asians, doesn't understand what racialized capitalism. And I don't normally speak this hard, but I have to, because we're in hell here. Okay, we haven't got time for brothers doing these things. Okay, that's racialized capitalism, a system by which whatever we do as a group, not individuals, as a group will always be down. So those banks would have affected you and our lives today.
Absolutely.
Right, they're not around. No stimulus package. What's that got to do with were the Asian ones bailed out? Yes. Were the white ones? What's that got to do with whether you're pulling your self up by bootstraps? You see? So that's racialized capitalism. Capitalism that is racialized. Structural and systemic barriers set up to keep the group down. But what do black people want to do? Money, 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 money. Because they see a rapper or they see a singer. You see? Do you see black people? Oh, come to my, I can make you be a millionaire in 4 years. We had a joker the other day in our community going around telling, I'm going to make you a millionaire in 4 years. What? I think we've got another year and a half, and I expect to see millionaires. I won't be seeing them. Okay? It's nonsense. They don't understand racialized capitalism.
That was powerful. Thank you for sharing that. That was a really good outline.
Okay? Now, I'm not saying you're not going to see wealthy black people. You are going to see them. Okay? That's part of the system. Oh, these Negroes are dumb. Let's make a wealthy black person. As long as they're anti-black, I'll make them famous. I'll make them wealthy. I'll give them a seat in government. And then we'll get the rest of blacks to live vicariously through them. And you know how many blacks buy that?
Loads.
Try and tell a black person.
Too many.
Try and tell a black person that the group was always kept down. Oh, no, look at the Asians. What's Asians got to do with that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Asians are on a different hierarchy.
They're used as a wedge, aren't they? They're used as a wedge.
Right. Now, the last thing I want to say on that, the corollary isn't, oh, we're on the bottom of the racial hierarchy, sit down and do nothing. That's not what I'm saying either. Okay? Because I said earlier that I put my pennies, they weren't pennies, but £50 here, £100 there, whatever, and saved so that when it was time to print this book, the money was there. I looked at my situation and I said, without fear, by the way, let me get rid of all the fear. Without fear, I probably can release this book. Not, oh, I can't release this book. I need to take it to white publishers. And you take it to white publishers, and they say, oh, well, I'm going to promote this book for you, but you're going to have to take this out, this out, this out, this out, this out, this out, this out. And when you do those press conferences, that's what creates a Negro. You see, that's what creates a Negro, just because you didn't assess your situation. Okay, so I'm not saying there aren't wealthy black people out there, but our system that we're in is set up to keep the group down and ignore brothers and sisters who keep comparing our lot to Asians and Chinese. Okay, they don't understand racialized capitalism. They're racially illiterate. Sorry to be direct like that, but it's necessary because I get bored of hearing the nonsense all the time. Okay, and I can give you the sources for the books that I've quoted, and you can get your knowledge up.
Interesting.